Supernatural Season 10, Episode 6, Ask Jeeves. I loved how funny this episode was. I think, without a doubt, the best stuff was just the two older women who kept coming on to Sam and Dean. Especially the one woman who, when they were in the bathroom, was like, I never and stuff. She was like my favorite person in this episode because she was just so silly. And it wasn't like they normally do it where it's like, someone says like, oh, and you can tell like they're looking at someone or they do a certain thing and they're looking at Sam or Dean. She was just like, whoever, like whatever, it doesn't matter. And she like smacked Dean on the butt in the beginning of the episode. She was coming on to Sam when he was sneaking around the house. After she was trying to like storm out of the bathroom and Dean stopped her, he's like holding on to her just like, hey, everybody relax. And she's trying to get all on him like, oh, get your hands off me. And she's, like coming on to him. I loved her because she was just hilarious to me. Like the dialogue they had for her and the other woman, they were both kind of silly. Like the one woman was sort of coming on to Sam a little, but really, like the main woman just coming on to both of them, like it just didn't matter. I thought she was hilarious, but it was a really good episode. It was really silly and funny, and it had a really interesting opening. I was wondering why they were showing all the different creatures that they kind of went up against, and it's still kind of weird that they did show all those different things. And I think the point of that was to kind of throw us off because, like, even the preview is like it was kind of like Clue, like what happened, who's the one that killed the, who is the killer really. So I think that was the point of them doing that, and I actually thought it was kind of cool because initially I thought they were all different types of creatures. They were just like a family somehow, and then it was like, okay, so maybe it's a ghost, and the butler's in on it, and then they find out it's a shapeshifter, and it's like, okay, so is the butler the shapeshifter? Who was it? Are the two shapeshifters? That's what I initially thought. I thought one was just, I guess their regular form was the wife, and then the regular form was the husband, and he had just been disguised as someone else or whatever. But I thought it was really good, and it ends up being, I guess she wasn't really the maid, but the daughter, and we find out it's because she was the daughter, and we find out how everything ties in with Bobby, and basically the main reason they went there. And I love how they do that. It's every time it's like, there's no case, you want to check this out, and then it's just like that's the case of the episode. So I always find that kind of funny, but I thought it was really good. And we got the explanation towards the end of the episode where Bobby helped the woman, and he, her actual, well, I guess her stepfather, sort of, not really, he died, and then Bobby comes in, he takes out the shapeshifter, and so he tells the mother like, I'll let the kid live, but you gotta hide it. And she kind of hates him for that, but really her mother could have done anything. Like, she didn't have to be like, I'll do exactly that, and lock her up forever. She could have easily just been like, your dad was a shapeshifter, sadly he died, and monsters are real, but people don't really know that, so you can't really change in front of everybody. And that's all she had to do, and it would have been perfectly fine. I think we've seen an episode where that happened, where the kid was a monster, but they grew up and it was like, yeah, I'm a shapeshifter or whatever. It might have specifically been a shapeshifter, but they were raised knowing that they weren't exactly normal. They weren't supposed to shapeshift. So she was mad, and she kind of had the right to be, because her mom kind of just did exactly what Bobby said, but she could have done anything. So it was kind of interesting. That's what I thought of, at least. Like, she didn't really have to hate Bobby. Like, he suggested that because, of course, she's going to be, as a kid, just randomly switching bodies in front of people, so it'll freak people out. But her mom could have come up with something better. Like, they both could have. Technically, Bobby could have, too. But, Bobby being a hunter and kind of doing what he does, I wouldn't expect him to be like, or you could do this, because, the hunter solution really is just kill it. So he was doing her a huge favor to begin with. But I love the episode. Her being, the actual villain, or the monster of the episode, I thought was pretty well done. Especially, I think one of my favorite part about it was the fact that they went through their typical stuff, and it's like everything about all these people is just fake. Like, even the silverware, it wasn't silver, it was stainless steel. So that was really funny. It was like, all right, so who is it? Like, is it that was just another thing they added to it, because they tested everyone except for the cop. And I thought it wouldn't be the cop, and I initially thought before he was killed, if it's not the cop, then there is another person within the house that's like just hiding and going around killing people. And just like with the butler, like, he was dead in a different part of the house, but the shapeshifter took over for him. And that's how I thought it was. Like, you don't really know, like, is it a shapeshifter? Is there an extra person that is a shapeshifter, and we don't really know who it is. It's like maybe the wife who isn't really dead or whatever. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good little mystery, and just the way they did it, because like the stainless steel thing was like they kind of got screwed over by that, and they couldn't get out because they were being detained by the cops. So they had like real world stuff, and then even them going the supernatural route, it was like, oh great, they this woman was so cheap, even though she was rich for whatever reason, had stainless steel instead of actual silver in the silverware box. Or maybe the butler actually, or the daughter actually switched it out because she knew they were going to go for that. But I don't know. But I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was really well done, really funny, nice, silly one-off episode. But I thought it was really well done. Like I said, I love the woman who's just kept coming on to the brothers because she was just silly. But overall, I thought it was a great episode, a nice little one-off. It's weird to have this one right after the 200th because it was just like two one-off episodes. But the last one was, of course, the 200th episode, so it was like, super special, and they kind of really just started the season when you consider everything as a whole. So it's like it couldn't be like the ultimate episode of the season. So it's like, all right, of course it'll be a one-off episode. It was the musical episode of Supernatural, and then we got like, I guess, a more typical one-off episode again. So it's kind of weird having two in a row. So I'm excited to get back into things next week. But I love this episode. I thought it was really well done, really funny. Not really too much action in it, just funny. One thing I almost forgot to talk about this, but the stuff at the end where Dean did do the extra shots and stuff, they kind of hinted at him possibly going back to the demon side of him with the opening as well, because they started off where it's like, it wasn't in. They took their time to get to the part where he actually became human Dean again, and it was the whole monologue where he's like, this is really me, or I guess it was a dialogue between Sam and Dean, and Sam's like, I don't know why I'm even talking to you, because this isn't the real you, and he's like, oh, this is the real me, all right, and stuff. Your brother's gone, it's just the demon me now. So I was excited to see that, because one of the big things is that in this season, the big thing was like, it's Demon Dean, and then it was done by episode 3. So I'm really hoping that we get back into that, and it was either in this episode residual kind of demon stuff like Sam said, or it was the mark. And I think they've been doing this on purpose. They were hinting at it, and I noticed in every episode how they were doing it. But Dean does constantly say like, I gotta get out there, I gotta hunt. And granted, he that is their life, they do hunt. But considering he was a demon, and also the Marky Kane thing was like, if you don't do this you'll die, even though he was cured, I feel like the whole Marky Kane thing isn't exactly just going to disappear. Even if he doesn't have the Marky Kane, who knows how things really affect you. I mean, he already went full demon, so it's probably too late now. Like, the mark probably has like at least some small hold on him, like he doesn't realize it, but he's got something. And like you said, it was his first kill, so he kind of finally got that first taste of killing someone since he gone back to being human. And that's kind of why he went overboard a little bit with all the extra shots, which really took me by surprise. Like, he did the shot, I was like, okay. He did like the one extra shot on the ground, I was like, well, they do that like all the time, like no big deal. And then it was like 6 other shots, I'm like, okay, that's a little crazy. So I'm hoping that honestly, I just hope we get Demon Dean back. I want that to be a thing where he comes back as the demon, or whoever this mystery woman was. I think 2 episodes ago we got the little ending where she had like the guys pinned to the ceiling. I'm really hoping that she is like the catalyst to just like flip Dean back to demon mode for whatever reason, if whether it's a spell or she like kills him again, and he ends up being saved even if he doesn't have the actual first blade anymore. I want to see him go back to being Demon Dean, at least temporarily, because that was like the big thing. And sadly, it kind of just went away after 3 episodes, and I want to see that come back. I want to see him kind of take off again. He doesn't necessarily have to take off, but I want to see things get really crazy again, where he's Demon Dean, and Sam has to figure out a whole new way to kind of get his brother back, because it didn't work the first time, so he'll have to find something else while dealing with whoever this mystery villain is. So that's what I'm hoping for. Maybe not too soon, I don't know. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch the episode on TV, so I have no idea if next week is the fall finale or the one after, but hopefully they do something really big in the fall finale, and maybe Demon Dean comes back, maybe not. But I'm just excited for them to get into the villain aspect of this season. But I love the episode. Of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And we've had, like, episode 200 last week as sort of a one-off, and this was a one-off. So if next week is going back into it, and like I said, I didn't get to see the preview, I had to watch the episode online. If it is, or whether it is or isn't, what do you guys want to see them get into when they officially get back into, like, the main story for this season? Do you want to see the villain first? Do you want them to just somehow instantly get right back to Demon Dean, or do you guys want to see stuff going on with Cass, or maybe even Crowley? I feel like Crowley, really, his storyline is just that he's bored right now. I kind of find it funny. I find that kind of funny, but what do you guys want to see if they get back into the main storyline next week? What's the first component you really want to see them get back into? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.